Hi everyone, my name is Emily Peterson, and for stage one, I'm going to begin by talking about my experience, my initial thoughts, and any questions I may have about mobile learning, the one-on-one initiative, bring your own device. I'm just going to kind of share that. So I have a picture right here which pretty much sums up my experience with mobile learning. I was a long-term substitute teacher at Kennedy Elementary School in Mankato, and during my time long-term subbing, I had a Chromebook cart in the classroom. Now, there was one Chromebook cart for 2 grade levels, so we shared it between 3rd grade and 2nd grade, and I was teaching in 3rd grade at the time. And there were 4 2nd grade classrooms and 3 3rd grade classrooms. So there was 7 total classrooms and sharing this one Chromebook cart. So I was teaching a unit in writing. They were writing about their favorite animal. I let them use the Chromebook to type out their final draft, or they could make a presentation. I let them kind of do what they want. If they wanted to write it, they could. I gave them an option. The only problem was we only had 10 Chromebooks at the time, and this picture pretty much sums up what had happened. So the kids were fighting over it because there weren't enough Chromebooks. So with that being said, I think that a one-on-one initiative using technology would be really great for schools, so that problem doesn't happen where kids are fighting, there's not enough, you have to share it between classrooms, then you have to figure out a schedule. I just think that that's very confusing. I think that it's great that the school offers that, but it would be ideal if every single classroom had enough technology devices for each student. It doesn't have to be a Chromebook, it could be like an iPad or a mini iPad or something, but I just think that that would be obviously more ideal. So my initial thoughts, I'm going to go over here now and talk about these. My initial thoughts about mobile learning or the one-on-one is that it's obviously engaging. Students love learning with technology. It's really up and coming, and I think that it's obviously really engaging. However, our group, Summer Fun, we were talking about that it's kind of unreliable. With the one-on-one initiative, the students may not, if they were to bring it home, they might forget to bring it back. So it's unreliable, because then the student won't have it for that day. And what if, the teacher has a whole lesson plan using the Chromebook and the student forgot to bring their device? Or, if they bring their own device and they forget it, then that could be a problem, which is unreliable. If our group also talked about breaking, if a student were to break the device, how does that solve? And then, which brings me to my next point of being costly. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to purchase these devices or have students bring them. What happens if they break? Just things about that. And then my next point I have about my initial thoughts is that there's not enough professional development for mobile learning. So if schools are to move to that one-on-one technology for students, they need to get that proper training. They need to know how to successfully implement technology into the classroom. Which then brings me to my last point, is there's no time for that professional development. So how can schools and teachers and staff make time to get that professional development. I know Vanessa in my group, she was saying the teachers at her school really striving for more professional development. They really want to learn more about mobile learning. However, there's no time to do it. So I think trying to figure out a time to work that in, I think that's what needs to happen. Jen, just before we get started with our conversation, scholarly conversation, I was just thinking of some questions. Obviously, there are a lot of good things and a lot of bad things with mobile learning or bringing your own device, the one-on-one initiative, and I'm just wondering what those positive and negatives are. And then another question I have is, how can teachers implement mobile learning into the classroom? So how can they effectively implement that technology into the classroom? Not just, giving a student a device and having them use it, but how can they do it with purpose? How can they create a lesson with technology that has a purpose and is meaningful and can really help students learn? Right? So this concludes my stage 1 for our scholarly conversation. I talked about my experience, my initial thoughts about it, and questions I may have. If you go over to stage 2, we'll be digging deeper and start looking into these questions. The question that I'm going to be really focusing on is how teachers implement mobile learning into the classroom. So if you go over to stage 2, click on my video and we'll talk more about that. Thank you.